thinking about taking a gap year from medical or dental school or any university degree for that matter, in this video I'm going to show you exactly what to do, how to think about it, and depending on the situation that you're in, what to consider. So really, you're going to be coming to this video in one of two situations. You either have chosen to take a gap year and are getting ready for medical school and want to know what to do with it or whether you should consider one, or you've been forced to take a gap year because your application wasn't successful and you are thinking whether you should go again or go to university instead and do a different degree, or whether you should use that year to reapply. And if you are thinking of or are taking a gap year, you're really going to be in one of three situations which overlap with what I just said, which is either, like I say, the enforced gap year where you've not had a choice and you've had to do it because you are retaking. You've planned a gap year, so when you submitted your UCAT application, you actually said on there that you want to delay by a year from the point that you're applying so that you can take a gap year. Or the third one is that you have your place and you want to then go on and have a gap year. So you're asking them, post them giving you an offer, to delay so that you can have that time to do whatever you want in the gap year. So I'm going to talk about each of those scenarios and what to do in each one throughout this video. I'll tell you a little bit about what happened to me in my gap year and all about that. But if you are in the position where you didn't get a place at medicine or didn't get a place in dentistry and you really have your heart set on it and you want to apply again, maybe it might even be that you got a place but not at the university you wanted, or various reasons that you are taking a gap year, I will tell you that there is a really good chance for people who are reapplying. And if you get the right sort of help, the Future Doc program, we always take people who have not got in one time by themselves, 2, 3, 4, even up to 5 times. They've had failed attempts by themselves. They've come to us and we've helped them get in on that first attempt with us. So I'd recommend that you check out that video there where you can find out how we can help you with this application to make it a success. But I'll talk about the considerations for a gap year if you got rejected a bit later in the video. Now, I was in the camp when I got my place at medical school. I then decided that actually I'd been working really hard through all of my A-levels, all of school, and I'd been just slugging it out the whole way, and decided that actually maybe it was time for me to go and do something interesting and take a bit of time out of education before medical school, just to go and see the world a little bit. Now, originally I had planned to go and do maybe some volunteering, but actually it didn't work out like that. In the end, what I ended up doing was going to Australia. I worked in a bar, I went surfing for about 4 months, and just really had a good time enjoying traveling and experiencing my first bit of travel solo abroad at 18 years old. Then I went on to become a snowboard instructor in Canada. I spent the next 4 or so months doing that, from around January to kind of end of April, May sort of time. And that was just a season snowboarding, which was absolutely incredible as well. Like I say, learned to be an instructor and did a load of snowboarding, got really good, met some really cool people, and just had an incredible time. Then I came back to the UK and I went back to working in the hospital, giving out the food and drink to all the patients, which was really good because it paid really well, and also great experience, great hospital exposure running up to starting medical school. And really, what I would say from that experience is there are a few benefits that were incredibly valuable. The first thing, that traveling is amazing and going away by yourself really helps you develop that independence. When I started at university, I was very used to living by myself, looking after myself, meeting new people all the time. You become very relaxed and a bit more worldly because you've seen a bit more of the world when you have gone and traveled around, and that really lends itself to being a lot more relaxed and good at meeting people and just comfortable in the environment of uni, which for some people can be quite daunting. Now, the other thing that I would say, and even if you're not taking a gap year, I would encourage you to do this, is to make sure that you go into university really relaxed. So I was really well rested from that year out, and I'd spent, like I say, a lot of time I was working, but I'd done a lot more little bits of traveling just before starting, and really went refreshed and ready to start. Now, there is a downside to it because I did find it hard to get back into education. Not only is medical school a step up from A-levels, it's also going to that step up after having a year of not doing anything. It is a bit difficult at first and a shock to the system to motivate yourself to go back into studying so intensely. And medicine is a shock to the system at the best of times because of the amount of work that's required. But I was in that camp of people, like I said, that applied to medical school, got my place, and then had to beg the university, which is Cardiff University, to let me postpone. Now, that's not a given. They will not always necessarily do that. Luckily, they said yes to me, and you have to sometimes, and I did to them, put forward a very strong case as to what you're going to get out of it, what you're going to do, tell them what you plan to do with that year, and why it's a good reason for them to not let you take your place at the time that you were supposed to, which was the coming September. Now, I said to them that I had planned to volunteer and I had planned to travel and planned to learn to become a snowboard instructor because I felt that would give me the teaching skills and the confidence to be able to communicate well. I didn't end up doing the volunteering because that fell through, but still, you know, I gave them a really good case for why they should do it, and thankfully they accepted. Conversely, as you may know, I did a medicine degree and then I did a dentistry degree. Actually, at the time I got into dentistry, I also asked, after getting the offer, whether I could postpone and have a gap year then, because I'd obviously got the itch for traveling, and they declined that. So really, like I say, really not a given that you will get the gap year granted. Now, another situation might be that when you submitted your application to UCAS, remember you can submit for the coming year that you want to start or the year after that. So you may have done that second one and already decided and planned ahead that you are going to have a gap year. Now, you might be thinking, well, what do I do with it? And there are plenty of options. I think travel is a fantastic one. Volunteering, working full time. There are plenty of things that you can do. And as I said, there are many benefits for doing it. So if you have a really good plan, I would really encourage you to do it. Your parents might not be happy with me saying this, but the only thing that I would advise against is if you plan to just toss around and not do too much, it might be a bit of a waste of the time, to be honest. But I think if you have the plan to do something constructive with it, something that's going to help you grow as a person, get more life experience, get more sociable, get more experience in the workplace, earn more money, get your savings up for university to start, whatever that thing is, if it is constructive and productive towards your time at medical or dental school, or like I say, any degree, then definitely something worth considering. So then finally, if you didn't get in and you're considering what you should do, here's a really good bit of advice that I would say. So there is a really good chance of you getting in the second time around, especially, like I say, if you get help, and we'd be more than happy to help you. But you know the application a lot more, you probably learnt a lot from your mistakes, but also you've got your A-levels in hand most likely, and if you've got the grades, that does work in your favour to see that universities like to see that you have achieved the grades rather than speculative on, not conditional offers, but on predicted grades that you may have had. They think, well, they may get those grades, but it's not a given, which is why they give conditional offers. Now, if you've got the grades, they can see that you've done it. Bear in mind that there are some universities that don't let you reapply to them if you've reapplied before. There are certain universities that you have to be careful for if you are reapplying. However, don't underestimate the fact that you've got the experience, you've probably got the grades at this stage. You may be needing to resit some exams so that you can get the grades, but that will make you eligible by the time that you go the second time around. However, the really big thing not to underestimate is once you've got all of those things, if you've got a gap year where you're not distracted by exams or whatever it is that's going on, you can really spend that year focusing on the application. And that makes a massive difference when you can put all of your efforts into it. So really worth considering whether it's worthwhile taking that time to do that, because what a lot of people do is panic. I don't want to waste a year. They say all of this stuff and they're really worried, because I can understand at the age of 17, 18, 19, taking a whole year to delay your career progression, if you want to call it that, might seem really daunting. However, people will go and do a degree, maybe in biomed or various other degrees that kind of are in the field of healthcare. And actually, if you think about it, if you go and apply that way and then you apply towards even when you go straight from that university degree into medicine or dentistry, you're still delaying it by 3 years, versus if you took a gap year and just applied again, went straight into medicine, you're still saving yourself 2 years in doing that other degree. And yes, it's not a guarantee, and people worry about all of this stuff. What if I take a gap year and go again and I don't get in? Well, yes, that is a possibility, but like I say, there are many things that you can do to stack the deck in your favor to make this time a really much higher chance of succeeding. So I'd really, really encourage you to think about this, because going through the undergraduate route is competitive, but it's nowhere near as competitive as going through as a grad. Grad is so much harder. The acceptance rates are way lower, the competition levels are so much fiercer and higher that you do stand a much better chance going in as an undergrad. So don't underestimate just how much of a difference it can make when you have no distractions and your pure focus is on applying to medicine or dentistry. It can make a huge difference, and especially if you're getting guidance, it will really help you submit your best application. And not only that, it shows your resilience and your willingness to want to do it, that even though you didn't get in the first time. You're willing to get up, go again, and really just do everything that you need and not give up until you get that place that you really, really wanted. So if you were really close and you're not sure whether, do I take a gap year, do I not? Don't underestimate just how much you can improve with the right approach this time around. Like I say, if you would like some help with that, we have the Future Doc program, which you're welcome to apply to and see if you can have us help you get through there and get your place this time. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Best of luck with your reapplication, or enjoy your gap year, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.